Good evening, I'm Katerina Georgieva. This is CBC Windsor News. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the acquittal of 5 former pro hockey players in a high-profile sexual assault case. An Ontario judge said she did not find the complainant's evidence credible or reliable. Ali Chiasson has more on the verdict and reaction to it.
It is a landmark ruling in what was already such a high-profile case, given the accusations and the former NHLers who were accused here. Today, there's both relief and outrage. This morning, EM supporters shouted down the accused for one last time as each walked into court to learn their fate. They had supporters too.
Not guilty!
That was ultimately Justice Maria Caricia's decision, and it was clear from the outset, early in her ruling, reading, quote, "I conclude that the Crown cannot meet its onus on any of the counts before me." Outside court, defense attorneys spoke to the media.
Justice Caricia rejected EM's claims of fear and her claims of non-consent. That should be the takeaway from today's judgment.
Their clients left out of a separate exit. The Crown, meantime,
we will carefully review Justice Caricia's decision, and as this case is still within the appeal period, we have no further comments to make about the decision at this time. Thank you very much for your time.
The Crown attorneys didn't comment whether they would be appealing the judge's decision. We did hear from the woman at the center of all this through her lawyer.
I expect many people understand that when a person summons the courage to disclose their story, the worst possible outcome is to feel disbelieved. It's a gutting experience that no one deserves. That's why today's verdict is so devastating.
What happens next? Those hockey players leave and move on with their lives. It's unclear whether they will be able to salvage a professional hockey playing career. As for EM, as we've only known her as, this chapter from 7 years ago is closed, and it's unclear where she goes from here. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, London, Ontario.
Some community members say a training directive issued to Windsor's chief of police doesn't go far enough. That directive came following an investigation into remarks that he made while at work. Earlier today, the Police Services Board met for the first time since CBC News broke the story. The CBC's Chris Ensing was there.
Windsor's retiring chief of police is refusing to answer questions about an internal investigation that found he made anti-black comments at work. CBC News asked him about the investigation at a public board meeting today.
Can I ask you about the investigation into your remarks? Sir, have you done the EDI training?
In January, an internal investigation substantiated allegations that Chief Jason Belair made anti-black comments. Those allegations were made by Windsor's highest-ranking black officer, Ed Armstrong. The police board told Belair to take equity, diversity, and inclusion training. Both the investigation and the training directive were kept secret until it was exclusively reported by CBC News. The chief and the police board have refused to answer questions. We asked Chair Joanne Geniak about the investigation today.
This is a personnel issue. It's in front of the HRTO. Until they make a ruling, we don't share information like that. And I understand both the media and the community saying they want information, but I think we have to respect the process to make sure that everybody has a fair hearing and a determination is made.
The HRTO is the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario. It's a separate ongoing process that Armstrong has launched against Belair. Multiple requests for comment to Armstrong have gone unanswered. The Black Council of Windsor-Essex has asked the chief to apologize for his comments. The Police Association of Ontario has said that they condemn his remarks.
Chief Belair has since announced his retirement. The Windsor Police Board has told him to take the training before the end of the year. He'll leave the job in November, about halfway through a 5-year contract. It's not clear if he's completed the training. Chris Ensing, CBC News, Windsor.
Amid allegations of unpaid bills and contract disputes at the NextStar battery plant, CBC has learned some local lawmakers have known about the problems for months. Emma Loop has more.
Local elected officials were told about financial disputes at the NextStar EV battery plant months before they were publicized last week. That's according to interviews and emails seen by CBC Windsor. We previously revealed that some Canadian contractors claim they haven't been paid for millions of dollars worth of work at the publicly subsidized facility. The provincial and federal governments have pledged more than $15 billion to NextStar, a joint venture between Stellantis and South Korea's LG Energy Solution. Back in May, a local contracting executive reached out to Kathy Borelli, the area's new MP. Eric Farron told Borelli he wanted to fill her in on some significant commercial issues on the project. He also said Canadian contractors were being financially injured. But he never got a reply, and she didn't respond to CBC's request for comment. A month before, Farron also reached out to Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkens, saying they were having contract problems that were getting worse. But Farron says that after some initial dialogue with the mayor's office, he didn't hear anything else. Sylvan has since filed a $45 million lawsuit for alleged unpaid bills and damages. In a statement, Dilkens didn't say whether he was previously aware of the issues. But he says it is our hope that all matters between the parties can be resolved as quickly as possible. However, there is one local legislator who indicated he was previously aware of the issues and has been working to get answers.
We have a system in place where you do work, you should get paid for it, and ultimately that's our goal. We have legislation that supports that, including recent changes to the Construction Act. So ultimately it's important that regulations of the province of Ontario be followed, and that's certainly my focus as a local member.
We reached out to the area's other MPs and MPPs. Anthony Liardi, the PC MPP for Essex, declined to comment on court proceedings. None of the others answered. Emma Loop, CBC News, Windsor.
The local health unit has sent out reminders to families about measles vaccinations. Specifically, the reminders are for school-aged children who are overdue for their shots. This, as officials say, there's been an increase in measles being detected through wastewater surveillance. Even though clinical cases in the meantime remain low, the health unit says the presence of the virus back in the wastewater is a reminder to be vigilant. The health unit is offering catch-up immunization clinics throughout the summer for those who need. Former Windsor West MP Brian Masse has taken on a new job. Masse represented Windsor West as an NDP MPP for 23 years. He's now working with the Multicultural Council of Windsor and Essex County, helping people find jobs. He says it's an area he has experience in.
That's where I came from. I was an employment specialist for persons with disabilities at the Association for Persons with Physical Disabilities, and also at the Multicultural Council. I ran the youth program there. So it was a lot of experience I had in the past, and I've been trained, everything from Walmart. I've worked in factories and tool and die, mold making, Plant 3 and Plant 6 at Chrysler, all kinds of retail. And so employment-based social experiences is something that I've had experience in. So I saw an opening, and it happened to match up with what I want.
Masse says he plans to stay out of politics for now and focus on his family and new job. For local baseball fans, it is an exciting time with the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Tigers in a 4-game weekend series, which starts today. But as Justin Escato learned amid a trade war, it's conflicting for fans as well when deciding whether to make the trip.
If you don't go over, you're only hurting yourself. But at the end of the day, though, you're going to feel cheated a little bit, with everything going on with the tariffs. Part of me just, hopefully they don't tariff wins, because you know what, I think the Blue Jays are going to do very well this weekend. But that's just me.
Do you believe that politics and sports should go together, or should they be separate?
They should be separate, but they're never going to be separate, unfortunately.
It don't really reflect anything at all. It's going to bring good money into Windsor or southwestern Ontario, like not just Windsor, from London all the way over, right? People will drive from Toronto just to go to Detroit. They'll spend the money in the hotels and the restaurants. It's good for us.
It goes right back to, it's a tough call. You support your team, but I've got to head to the States to watch them. To support them, it's going to have to be up to their own allegiances and, how much they support the team and how they feel about the U.S., the way they're treating us. So it's a tough call.
There are currently no heat warnings in effect, but locals are feeling it. It is so hot that the library in Amherstburg closed early because of extreme heat and climate control issues today. And the downtown mission is also putting a call out for donations of bottled water to help keep the hundreds of people that use the facility hydrated. Here with more on our current conditions is CBC's Riley Lachuk.
Well, thanks, Katerina. Yes, a very hot and sticky day out there. Prepare for this to last as we get into the coming days as well. Severe thunderstorm watches in place for southwestern Ontario. Some warnings up into cottage country. This is all because of this very hot, humid air mass that we've seen move into the region, fueled by a cold front that is triggering some thunderstorms along with that. So there is that potential as we get into the evening tonight of seeing some heavy downpours, even the potential for some hail as we get into the evening hours. I'll have more to say on that later. Your afternoon temperatures, 34 in Windsor, very hot, 34 into Sarnia as well, with the humidity feeling closer to 45 this afternoon. Yeah, it's been a bit of a sticky one out there. I will have more when I come back in just a bit.
Thank you very much, Riley. Wrestling superstar Hulk Hogan has died. World Wrestling Entertainment announced his passing, indicating that he had suffered cardiac arrest Thursday morning. Hogan helped turn wrestling into a global phenomenon in the 1980s. He was WWE champion 6 times, and his name was synonymous with the annual WWE extravaganza, WrestleMania. His popularity transcended sport in the 1990s when he appeared in several movies. Hogan was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005, but was removed 10 years later for using a racial slur. He was reinstated in 2018. In recent years, he was a vocal supporter of Donald Trump. Hulk Hogan was 71, and he is survived by his wife and 2 children.
Brother, don't thank me. I thank you because what you do builds all the people that I beat to be the Hulkster. Like Hulk Hogan is as big an iconic star, not just in wrestling, but really in entertainment. You think about that character, that larger-than-life persona that he, along with others, created, that Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania wave of popularity. You know, Terry, the guy behind the character, certainly had his questionable decisions over the years, and people have every right, we need to judge that and hold him accountable for that. And when Hulk won, you won, and he had this ability to make you feel that he won because you supported him. And that was always part of his messaging, right? Like him and all his Hulkamaniacs, brother.
What you gonna do when these pythons come to you? Eat your vitamins, say your prayers. Brother, 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 brother. Everybody was his brother. You could almost say that wrestling, there was a wrestling before Hulk Hogan and wrestling after Hulk Hogan, because Hulk Hogan in the 1980s completely revolutionized and changed the way that the world saw pro wrestling. His legacy has definitely suffered a tarnish. But I mean, whether or not you love or hate Hogan, you can't deny that during the 1980s and the mid to mid 90s, he was definitely one of the biggest stars the industry has ever seen.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Canada's Arctic to meet with Inuit leaders and discuss the One Canadian Economy Act, also known simply as Bill C-5. It allows Ottawa to designate certain projects as being in the national interest and bypass some regulations to fast-track projects. David Thurton has more.
This is the first time that Prime Minister Mark Carney and Inuit leaders are holding high-level political discussions. On the agenda, Arctic sovereignty, defense, healthcare. Mark Carney also announced Canada's first Arctic ambassador. But much of this meeting will focus on the government's new legislation to fast-track major projects, to build big things and to build them fast. The new law would provide upfront approvals before the Crown completes its duty to consult with Indigenous peoples. The Prime Minister addressed concerns around that.
To be absolutely clear, C-5 fully respects modern treaty, all treaty rights, modern treaty rights, and environmental assessment consistent with those treaty rights is one of the things we'll discuss directly.
At the start of the meeting, not everyone was satisfied with those assurances. Inuit wanted clarification on what that really means. Before the meeting was over, they seemed to have received that.
He was unequivocal in stating that this legislation will not interrupt the processes that have been set up under our modern treaties when it comes to environmental assessment, when it comes to project reviews.
Inuit leaders say the North has massive infrastructure gaps. It needs nation-building developments such as deep water ports, transmission lines, and high-speed internet. But they want it on their terms. David Thornton, CBC News, Inuvik.
Welcome back. Many Canadians have been choosing to shop for products made here since Donald Trump started a trade war in February. But as Sophia Harris reports, sometimes the Buy Canadian label is not accurate.
Stacey Deneen is all in on the Buy Canadian movement, especially for food. But she loses her appetite when it's mislabeled, like this broccoli, advertised at her local Sobeys store as a product of Canada.
I was pretty excited, except that when I picked it up and read the tag shows product of USA. That frustrates me. It makes me feel misled.
According to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, in the past 8.5 months, the agency has identified 29 complaint-driven cases related to country of origin claims for food where companies violated the rules. The CFIA says most of the cases involve bulk produce sold in stores. CBC News went shopping and found several cases of mislabeled bulk and packaged produce. like these blueberries at a Sobeys store, advertised as product of Canada. But the packaging stated product of USA.
That's mislabeled. That's false advertising, right? That's not consistent.
At a Loblaw-owned No Frills, these strawberries were branded with the maple leaf, plus a prepared in Canada declaration. But the packaging said product of USA. After CBC News reached out to Loblaw about this, the signage was gone.
Why would you put a maple leaf on a product that very clearly is imported? It just erodes the trust.
Beyond the produce aisle, both Deneen and CBC discovered this at Sobeys stores. Raw imported almonds, promoted as made in Canada and marked with a maple leaf, but
We don't grow almonds in this country. Those should not meet the made in Canada threshold.
Sobeys didn't answer questions about the raw almonds, but the grocer and Loblaw told CBC News they strive for accurate country of origin labeling, but that mistakes can happen when dealing with mass inventory and constantly changing suppliers.
It might be unreasonable to expect them to get it right every time.
If the retailers But this food labeling expert says big grocers are spending big money on patriotic ads.
Canadian isn't just in our name.
And have had enough time to iron out the wrinkles.
Just having a marketing campaign without having the correct information behind the scenes really, I think, does a disservice to all consumers.
As for Deneen, she'll keep checking the fine print to make sure she knows where her food is coming from. Sophia Harris, CBC News, Toronto.
In international news, at least 12 people are dead following clashes between Thai and Cambodian soldiers along their shared border. Thousands of others have been forced to flee. This comes after a sharp escalation in tensions over a border dispute that erupted weeks ago. Patrick Falk has the latest from Singapore.
Well, this really is a sharp escalation in an ongoing dispute between Thailand and Cambodia. It's not clear today which side fired shots first. Both sides blame one another, but as far as we understand, an exchange of fire first took place near the Ta Muan Tom temple in Surin province around the border area. That's now turned into something much bigger, with fighting taking place across 6 different zones around the border area. Thailand earlier also said that it launched airstrikes against Cambodian military targets in a show of strength. And people around the area are really rattled by the situation. There have been border disputes between the two countries for more than a century. This latest crisis was triggered by the killing of a Cambodian soldier at an undemarcated point in May. But the situation has taken a much more violent turn than many people had suspected might happen. And fears now are that they could deepen much further. And making matters worse, also on Wednesday, Thailand downgraded diplomatic relations with Cambodia and also expelled Cambodia's ambassador in protest against a landmine blast which wounded 5 Thai soldiers. Cambodia, in a tit-for-tat move, also expelled the Thai ambassador and has recalled all of its embassy staff. So finding a diplomatic solution to this situation has become all the more difficult as well. Patrick Falk for CBC News, Singapore.
Stay with us. Riley Lachuk will be back with us after the break with our full weather forecast to talk us through this heat. It is really, really intense. Can't believe that we don't have a heat warning in place right now. And also keeping an eye on that storm that might be coming through. Stay with us. Well, we are dealing with intense heat and a storm watch. Here now is Riley Lachuk with our full weather forecast.
Well, we are looking, Katerina, at the potential for some severe weather as we get into the evening tonight, all because of the heat and the humidity that we've seen. Looking at satellite radar, you can really see where this cold front is defined as it sinks south well back into the U.S. Midwest. And as this cold front is meeting some of this very hot, humid air, it's triggering some of these thunderstorms that we've seen up into cottage country throughout the afternoon hours and even some back into Michigan that will start to push eastward as we get into the evening hours tonight. Other than that, mainly sunny skies, very hot, very humid today. I mean, we've seen a little bit of activity over Lake Erie as we've gotten throughout the afternoon hours, but really that's about it for active weather through the daytime hours anyway. But watch as this cold front starts to push through as we get into the evening hours. I've stopped it here at 8:30, and you can start to see Futurecast here depicting the development of some of that thunderstorm activity as we get into the evening hours. This takes us into the overnight period. Still a lingering chance even into Friday, though, with some of the instability that's running behind this, that we do see a few showers, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder even into the morning hours, carrying us into the afternoon again, because we are looking at another very hot and very humid day as we get through Friday. We will get some peaks of sunshine back as we get through the day. But then as this weak trough starts to push in, at the very least some extra cloud cover as we get into Saturday. But this particular model indicating the potential even into Saturday of seeing a few more showers or even some thunderstorms as this trough starts to push in as we get into the afternoon once again. So we are looking at a bit unsettled conditions over the next few days into southwestern Ontario and really right across southern Ontario. That potential is there that we do get into some thunderstorms as we get into the next couple of days here. So temperatures as we get into the afternoon hours, this is a snapshot at about 4 o'clock, looking at 24 to 28 degrees across southwestern Ontario. Once again, 27 in Windsor by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, we'll tack some humidity onto that. So here's a look at your long range as we get into Friday. 28, our forecast high through the afternoon. The potential there again for some showers as we get throughout the day, more so in the morning, but there is that potential again of seeing some thunderstorms rolling through into the afternoon. Feeling into the high 30s, even into the 40s as we get through the weekend into early next week. And Katerina, we do have that risk of seeing some rain or some thunderstorms persisting as long as this humidity is in place.
Thanks very much, Riley. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Please stay cool and stay hydrated out there. Have a wonderful evening, and we will see you tomorrow.